when I got up on a stage and did a presentation in front of over 800 people. I'm naturally very quiet. Um, I I don't mind presenting, but it was never a strength of mine. It was never a skill of mine. I was too shy. I didn't believe I could do it. But doing that in front of an audience that big and getting a really, I suppose, some really strong feedback after it, those are magical moments for me. We all come from different backgrounds. My home background was quite traditional, and it was a sort of background where you are seen and not heard. You never speak up. You do not maintain eye contact with someone who's older than you. You agree with everything they say. You do not have an opinion. You do not brag. That just feels normal because that's your home life. You don't assume there's anything different. But what's quite interesting is you end up bringing that into the workplace with you, and you feel that that's a normal way of behaving. But actually, because there weren't as many people, and this is when I first joined, coming from that type of background, it was hard for the workplace to understand that beneath that reserved character is actually someone who's reasonably good at their job. I figured out that I had to do stuff that pushed me well out of my comfort zone, stuff that I was uncomfortable with, like presenting, like talking in big meetings. And what made a difference, what mattered, it was talking about it, sharing your feelings, but ultimately it's developing a new skill. I didn't have that type of skill before, and it's just multiplied and imploded and improved over the years. It's very hard, but I did tell myself that actually, what is this? You're learning to do something you don't know how to do. So that's what's in it for me. It's teaching you. Before I go into an audit committee meeting, I'm petrified. That's probably for an auditor the most intimidating environment. I psych myself up to the point of panic. I talk to myself. I tell myself silly stories. I talk in front of a mirror. But then when you go in at the time on the day, it works. And we all have different techniques and different ways of doing things. That's what works for me. It's okay to talk. And I think increasingly the type of environment we're in here is one where personal disclosure is looked on very favorably. I had a great meeting with our chairman, Steve Varley, and he talked to me a lot about disclosure and being open. It's something he believes in, which I think says a lot. It's not about changing who or what you are. You can't change what's naturally inherently inside you. And those situations will always fill me with that feeling of dread. But the techniques that I've learned over time to overcome it and be able to deliver, that's what actually gets better. That's what becomes stronger. Talk to people. I think one thing we've got a big luxury of at EY is a lot of D&I groups, as an example. And I would suggest that those networks are used to find like-minded people who may have come from or may have similar, let's say, inhibiting factors or similar fears, and just talk about it. But I will still say that up to now, and at this point in time, um, anyone I speak with who is more senior to me and who I talk about things that worry me, it's not looked down on. They actually want to help, they're interested. So what they will share with you as a consequence is things that things that worry them or things that they're not entirely comfortable with. And what you find is that humanizes and it normalizes you. So you'll be surprised. Don't feel that everyone who's more senior to you is perfect and they don't worry or they don't get scared. It happens to everyone. Very much part of what we're trying to do with audit D&I as an audit practice. I mean, what is really important is to help the firm grow. and you help the firm. Anyone who comes from an area of difference, I think, is in a unique position to help the firm grow, because you have a different way of viewing things, looking at things. But if you do not share with the business what type of support and help it is you need, it's very different. It's difficult for the business to get it. So what I would strongly urge is, I think the business is very interested. I mean, you can see it from the D&I strategy. I see it from the leadership that I work with. But we also have a responsibility to help the firm. So embrace it, because it's an important thing for everyone.